I'm extremely proud that not only has the United States strengthened and expanded our positive cooperation and our economic, cultural, diplomatic, security, people-to-people, and other relationships with virtually all of the countries in East Asia and in the Pacific. But we turned over to a new administration here in the United States on January 20th, a policy and a set of relationships that I think everyone can agree are in very good shape. Now, I don't mean to suggest that there aren't serious problems. There are some chronic problems that the Trump administration must deal with, that the Obama administration, the Bush administration that preceded it, in some cases, administrations all the way back to Eisenhower have had to contend with. But even in the areas where there were problematic events beyond our control, I think that the situation that the United States is in now is advantageous, and that America's contribution to the economic life of the region, as well as to the security and stability of the region, as well as to the application and acceptance of universal principles of human rights and rule of law, are substantial. I believe that that will continue. Everything that I have seen from Secretary Tillerson, from President Trump, and from the national security team thus far convinces me that the policy decisions going forward will continue to be made on the basis of America's long-term interests, with due consideration for the equities of our allies, of our friends, of our partners, and of our neighbors. And since the U.S. benefits directly from a thriving economy in Asia, since the U.S. benefits directly from stability in Asia, there's every reason to expect that the policies of this administration, like those of the one that preceded it, will be deeply rooted in the important guiding principles of shared prosperity, of democracy, of respect for the rights of others, and adherence to the rule of law. The president has been in touch with numerous leaders in Asia. Those leaders that he has met in person, most notably the Prime Minister of Japan, had extensive and substantive exchanges with him. I know that it's the intent of the president to build strong personal relationships with many other counterparts in the region. I had the privilege of accompanying Secretary of State Rex Tillerson to Bonn, Germany for the G20 Foreign Ministerial meeting, at which he held a trilateral session with the Japanese and Korean foreign ministers. He had a bilateral with the Korean foreign minister. He had a meeting with the Chinese foreign minister, as well as good discussions with the foreign minister of Indonesia and the deputy prime minister of Vietnam. I was able to support him in his meetings here in Washington with Foreign Minister Kishida of Japan Japan, with State Councilor Yang Jiechi of China, with Foreign Minister Julie Bishop of Australia. Am I missing anyone? As well as to provide recommendations and input for the many phone calls to counterparts that he has already made, and others that I know he plans in the near future. Today, the spokesman of the department announced Secretary Tillerson's plans to visit Seoul, Tokyo, and Beijing next week for consultations with important partners on a range of issues. We're only in, week 7 of the Trump administration. So when you combine all the activity that I've described with Secretary Mattis's early trip to key allies, the upcoming trip by Secretary Tillerson, and a lot of other activity that's in the works, I think it's safe to say that America's strong and close ties to the Asia Pacific are highly valued by the new team. And even though I will be supporting our Asia policy from a new platform in New York, not as an assistant secretary, but as a diplomat in residence, I will continue to be involved and be helpful in any way that I can. So let me stop there.
Yeah, so it was about 30 minutes for questions.
Could I-
Would I call you, please?
Pardon?
Oh, no, yeah.